Can I see the participants? Start. Good morning, all of you. Good morning, dear children. How are you? Back to school. Maybe a different format. Maybe online classes right now, not the usual ones. I'm sure you're missing your school, your friends, but no problem, don't worry about it. Come on, we are still there together in an online, in a different mode of way, that is online classes. Are you there? Are you able to hear me? Ms. Swati? Yeah. Swati, can you hear me? Am I audible to you? Swati Sri Kumar, can you hear me? Meenakshi? Meenakshi, can you hear me? Am I audible to you, Meenakshi? Meenakshi? Are you there? Kesia? Meenakshi, can you hear me? Oh, that's nice. Come on, I heard. Okay. What about Kesia? Just unmute. Okay. Okay, so I hope you all can hear me. And I'm sure by now you know who I am. I'm your bio teacher, USHA teacher. Most of you know because I've taught you guys. And here we are going to start with our biology class. Okay, all ready? I think you're just waiting. You got a break of 10 minutes. I think that's more than enough. Now we can start with our class. The first chapter in biology is the fundamental unit of life. Okay? The first chapter is the fundamental unit of life. Before I start with, for biology, you should have a notebook. After I take the lessons, I'll be giving you notes, and then you can write in that. You don't worry about all this. Right now, while I'm teaching, you concentrate on me and these slides as such. Okay, whatever I'm teaching. There might be drop in connection. You might get worried. Your network might fall. Nothing to worry. These sessions are recorded and will be put up in the YouTube. So let's move on to a chapter that is fundamental unit of life. This is a chapter which is related to cell, what we have studied in 8th. Many of you were there in my class last year, and I did mention that there is a continuation in the 9th standard. So that is what I said, cell structure and function is a continuation that is there in the 9th. So before I start and go deep into this chapter, we can just revise the little here and there the portions about cell. Here right now, I'm sure you know who this person is. You can see an image. Our dear Robert Hooke. What did he do? We have studied in 9th. In the 8th, we have studied. What did he do? He discovered cell. How did he discover cell? Let's brush up what we have learned. He observed thin slices of cork in the bark of a tree. What is a cork? It's a substance found in the bark of the tree. He observed thin slices of cork under a simple magnifying device. But when you are there under a simple magnifying device, you know how much it is, how much you really get to know about the cell. Then, whatever microscope were there on those years where Robert Hooke was when he discovered about cell, he observed that it had compartments, partition boxes. Okay, in the cork, he found partition boxes or compartments, which represented like honeycomb-like structures. Okay, you can see I put an image how a honeycomb look. It looks like this. And he noticed that these partition boxes were divided by a wall. Okay, it was divided by a wall. So here when I'm starting with this, I'm mentioning about few scientists and their discoveries. You have to know which scientist discovered what. Okay, here we know Robert Hooke. We know about him. We know that he discovered cell. Cell is a Latin word that means a little room. So in 1665, Dear Robert Hooke, okay, while examining a slice of cork using a crude microscope, saw honeycomb-shaped little compartments, and he named the boxes as cells. So you have to know Robert Hooke, what he discovered what is called cells. You have to know about what? I'm going forward with different scientists. So you have to know the scientists and the discovery. Now I've given here what a cork is. We have already learned this, but we are just brushing it up. Cork is a substance which comes from the bark of a tree. And cell is a Latin word for what it is? Little room. Okay? You can see a picture of this. I'm sure some of them will be telling. Yeah, there you have the onion cell, the major onion cell. We know that onion cell is a plant cell. We have already learned also about cheek cell, that is animal cell. And what is the difference between plant cell and animal cell? The main difference. Yeah, I can hear someone telling. Yes, plant cell has a cell wall and animal cell does not have. That is the main difference between them. This all we have learned in 8th. This is just again I'm saying we are going to learn it, elaborate in the 9th standard. So here we have mentioned about cork is a substance which comes from the bark of a tree, and cell is a Latin word for little room. Here there's a structure just given about microscope. This is a microscope which has high magnification. I just give an image. This, as we know, it's a plant cell. We know that it has a nucleus in it, cytoplasm, and the main is it has the cell wall in plant cell. We move on. Now there we come with another scientist. You must be wondering, oh my God, what a name. Leeuwenhoek. Okay, I can see some smiley faces. Though I can't say, I can see there someone is smiling and trying to pronounce his name. Leeuwenhoek. In 1674, he discovered what? Now you should know what he discovered. He discovered the free living cells in pond water for the first time. Okay, so he has a different discovery. Dear Leeuwenhoek, the great scientist, you can say I put a mensch so that you guys know who is who, otherwise you won't know the scientist. He discovered the free living cells in pond water for the first time. So we are done with 2 scientists. One, dear Robert Hooke, the cell, and Leeuwenhoek, he discovered free living cells in pond water. It's not stopped. We have to move forward. Now, here comes another person, another scientist. First we had Robert Hooke. Now we have Robert Brown. Wow. So you won't forget. It's just a surname. It's just different in them. Robert Brown, in 1831, he discovered the nucleus in the cell. I'm sure. I can see so many faces saying, oh ma'am, we know about nucleus. Yes. We did that also in what? In the grade 8. And I said, nucleus is very important in a cell. Okay? It controls the activity of the cell. And it has a role in inheritance. Now somebody's wondering, what is inheritance? What is inheritance? The transfer, okay, of the characters from the parent to the offspring. Okay? Now, nucleus, I'm sure, I just put a picture there. I don't know whether you can see. I'm sure you can. Most of you can see the image. But the nucleus, we know more about nucleus because we have learned in the 8th grade about it. Nucleus has a nuclear membrane. I'm sure you know that. Now, nuclear membrane is porous. What is porous? It means that it allows transport of materials from the cytoplasm to the nucleus. Then what else we know about it? If you take, if you look deep into nucleus, what we know about it? Under a microscope, we can see another spherical shaped structure called the nucleolus. This is all we have learned. Again, I'm saying, please brush up and see in 8th grade. If you still don't remember, I'm recalling the same thing again. Then the main part, nucleus, we know it is in the center of the cell. The main part, what it is, what else is found in the nucleus? I can hear someone saying. What else is found? Thread-like structures. See? What are those thread-like structures? I'm sure you will know. Yes, somebody said it. Chromosomes. Now, what is the role there? They carry the genes. Exactly, I heard somebody saying. Exactly, very good. Genes. Okay? They carry genes. So all this play a great important role. We have to know that mainly the scientist, Robert Brown, in 1831 discovered the nucleus in the cell. So don't forget Robert Hooke, Leeuwenhoek, and our dear Robert Brown. Now we go forward. Yeah, you can see another great scientist, but I'm sure everyone is trying to pronounce that name. I can hear that. Purkinje. Don't worry about the pronunciation. You just have to know about him and the year what he did. Okay, you don't worry about the pronunciation. Again, I'm saying I can see people smiling and having the grin on that face. Purkinje? What is Purkinje? No, you just have to worry about the discovery. Purkinje. In 1839, he coined the term protoplasm. Okay, here you can see protoplasm, that is the entire content of the cell. The entire living content of the cell is protoplasm. So here we know Purkinje in 1839 coined the term protoplasm. You have to know the scientist and the discoveries. Don't worry about the pronunciation. Just know the spellings and the discovery. So we have done with Robert Hooke. We are done with our dear Robert Brown. We are done with Leeuwenhoek. Now we are done with Purkinje. So these are the discoveries. You cannot go wrong with the discoveries. Be very careful when you learn. So once you are done, whatever I have been teaching, now I'll be teaching forward, please take the text and look. The discoveries are very important, especially the scientists. You cannot go wrong with the year. Ma'am, now I'll be asking. I can hear somebody asking, ma'am, should we learn the year? Of course, you should learn the year. You should know which discovery is done by whom. You cannot just learn the name. Okay? You have to know the scientist's name and the discovery. Now we will move forward. Now there we go. Another two scientists and the year. Sheldon and Siobhan. Again I'm saying, guys, don't worry about the pronunciation. Just learn the spelling and the year. That's more than enough. Okay? Sheldon in 1838 and Siobhan in 1839. What did they discover? They presented what is called the cell theory. What did they do? They presented what is called the cell theory. Now, it's important here. You can see the images I've given. Sheldon and Siobhan, actually M.J. Sheldon and Theodore Siobhan. Okay, I know so many of you are grinning. My, what all pronounced it, what all names are. But we need them because these guys, they have discovered all this. Unless they discover, and we will never know now what is what. Okay, now let's go here. What does the cell theory states? The cell theory states that all the plants and animals are composed of cells. Very simple, right? You don't even have to mark because we know this. Plants and animals, you, me, we all are composed of cells. Small units, okay, they are composed of cells. And the main sentence we have been learning since 8th again, cell is the basic and structural unit of life. The very common sentence, always it's our teacher's favorite. Okay, cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life. So I know so many scientists have come into your head. My God, how will you know? It is very easy. When we are done with this lesson today, this portion of chapter today, please go through a text. It is easy. Or you can note down this. And don't worry, the notes will be given accordingly. Now, can we move forward? I hear someone said, okay, we will move. Don't worry. Now, there the cell theory does not stay just like that. Another scientist, there he goes. He's waiting. He's not happy with the cell theory that's stated by Sheldon and Siobhan. Now I know somebody's trying, he's reading. I can hear somebody reading the line. Another scientist, Virchow. The cell theory was expanded Okay, it was further expanded by Virchow again in 1855. And what did he state? Now he is not happy with what they said. Now he wants to go forward. In that way only we will know what is happening. What? All cells arise from pre-existing cells. Don't worry, this will be told. We will move. What you must be wondering, what is all cells arise from pre-existing cells? You have to know that the cell theory was further expanded by Virchow in 1855, and you can see a scientist over there, the image over there, and he suggested that all cells arise from pre-existing cells. I can see some of you are noting it down. You can note down. This makes the work easier when I say the scientist and the year and the discovery. We'll move forward. Here I just wanted to show, as we know that Robert Hooke, he had a simple magnifying glass, and in his time there were no, he had microscope with very less magnification. Then it took years and years, maybe in his time after 150 years, it took to have an improved microscope, okay, with higher magnification. And here I wanted you guys to know, I've just put an image there. In 1940, the electron microscope was discovered, which led to the detailed study of the complex cell and the various organelles. I'm sure this word is not new. I can hear somebody say, oh, organelles, yes. They are the components of the cell. We cannot forget this because I'm sure your teachers must have already taught you. And one of the components we know, a famous powerhouse of cells, mitochondria. Yeah, yes. I got you. You go. I know someone said, yes, we remember now, ma'am. We'll move forward. Here, I've not forgotten which was stated. It will come back. Now let's go move forward. Unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. There again. The same thing what we have done in 8th, it's come back again in 9th. Unicellular organisms are what? Organisms that are made up of a single cell. Our famous, our dear one, the amoeba, the paramecium, the chlamydomonas. These are not new to you. Our dear amoeba, what is the main part, or what is the main characteristic in that? Yes, somebody is telling. Pseudopodia, the false feet. For what do you use that? Yeah. I hear someone saying to capture the food. Okay? So unicellular organisms are organisms made of single cell. We can just go through this. A single cell may constitute the whole organism. So amoeba, a single cell, it constitutes the whole organism, and such organisms are called unicellular organisms. And you can give examples. I've given last year also, we have said unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms, the difference between them, the definition, and we have the examples are very common or teacher's favorite, as I always say. Okay, here we have amoeba, chlamydomonas, we can see the image, paramecium, and bacteria also. Our dear bacteria, we can never forget. Are you all with me, or are you just sitting there and watching? Yes, I know. Okay, good. You all are with me. I can make out. Again, the multicellular organisms that are made with many number of cells. That also we have learned, and that is fungi, plants, and animals. We'll just go through this. You can just look at this slide. Many cells group together in a single body and assume different functions to form various body parts in multicellular organisms. Don't get worried. This is just a definition. Multicellular organisms are made up of many number of cells. They just have given in an elaborate form, so in the text also it's given, you can read it. So we know this portion, so nothing to worry about it. So whenever a question is asked for unicellular and multicellular organisms, okay, mainly the difference is asked, you have to know the definition and the examples for it. So I'll move forward. Yes. Here I said we'll come back with Virchow, our scientist, what he stated. Okay? He said that all cells come from pre-existing cells. Okay, dear Virchow, the scientist, he said. That means you can see the cells divide to produce of their own kind. Every multicellular organism has come from a single cell, okay? And cells divide to produce cells of their own kind. You can see a single cell, one cell, dividing again further division it happens and it goes on. Again I'll repeat this. All cells come from pre-existing cells. This is given by or stated by the scientist Virchow. Okay, what does it mean? Every multicellular organism has come from a single cell, and cells divide to produce the cells of their own kind. I can see some of you are raising hands or trying to do something. Come on, let's concentrate on what I'm teaching instead of sitting and doing unnecessary actions over there. There's time for all that. Come on, don't do that. Concentrate on what I'm teaching. Okay, this is understood by our dear scientist Virchow. So let's move on. Here it's common example. We can just go through it. Organisms can have cells of different kinds. Example, the smooth muscle cell we know, blood cell we know, the nerve cell, ovum, my God, we cannot even imagine without that, bone cell, fat cell. Muscle cell, how the shape is, spindle shaped cells, okay. Blood cells, the red blood cells, they're spherical in shape, round in shape. Then the very common one, the nerve cell, long and branched. These are some of the examples. The main ones which you know, make it you study that thoroughly. Next, we'll move on. Now, when I start this, you can see, I'm sure already you must have been reading. The characteristics of cells. The characteristic of cells. Here, I'm going to give you, there are certain things followed in cells. So that comes under the heading, characteristics of cells. Firstly, the shape and size of cells, okay, are related to the specific function they perform. I've given an example for you to understand and make it easier. What does that mean? The shape and size of cells are related to the specific function they perform. In a better way you can understand is, for example, amoeba, they change their shape. We said the extension, they bring out extensions, that's called pseudopodia, or the false feet to engulf the food. Second one, fixed shape, that is nerve cells. They have fixed shape. So amoeba, they can change shape, and nerve cells, they have fixed shape. That is, the shape and size of cells are related to the specific function they perform. I hope you understood this. It will take a little time, don't worry. It will take a little time, you will understand. That is why I've quoted with the examples to make it easier for you to understand. Next, we are moving on. I'm teaching about characteristics of cells. Next is, each cell has the capacity to perform certain basic functions, obviously. Each cell has they have a capacity to perform certain basic functions. That are characters that are common to all living forms. Okay, here, I've given an example, like our human body. In our human body, there's division of labor. It's followed by the cell as well. So main is division labor. Now you'll be wondering, what is division of labor? I'll repeat the second point again. Each cell has the capacity to perform certain basic function. Okay, that you have to know. And I've said like a human body, division of labor takes place. Now, what is division? I've already heard some of them asking, oh God, now what is division of labor? Don't worry, it is there here. What is division of labor? I've given that. I could hear somebody asking, my God, what is division of labor? Don't worry about it. Come on. Here you can see, division of labor in human beings means different parts of the human body perform different functions, obviously. Different part of the human body perform different functions. I've made it easy for you to understand. Example, obviously, our heart, what does it do? It pumps blood. Stomach, what is it? It helps it to digest food. This is the way, that is how it is related. Division of labor in human beings means different parts of the human body perform different functions. Can you imagine heart performing the function of stomach and stomach performing the function of, no. So they have their own functions. That is what, to make it easier, I've given the example. So I hope you have understood what is division of labor. So let's move on. Here the characteristics are going on. Now next point is, each cell has specific components, what are known as organelles. That is not new for you. I'm sure you know what organelles. Okay, they are components of the cell. So here each cell has got specific components which are known as, there again here saying organelles. Organelles, I'm sure you know most. we have mentioned some of the organelles, like we know about mitochondria, ribosome, plastids, endoplasmic reticulum, and the last day I have taught, I've given, yes, Anjali, she raised her hand and she was very sure about it. Thank you, Anjali, for acknowledging me. Okay, and I said, mitochondria is the powerhouse. I was always behind. Oh my God, mitochondria, teacher's always behind that mitochondria. I used to say they are the powerhouse and you have to know about it. Plastids, they're only found in plant cell. And yes, I see Arvind Thomas raising my God. That's cool. Thank you for acknowledging me. Wow. Amal, also, yes, my kid. Amal, thank you, dear. Okay, now let's go. Siddharth, thank you, thanks a lot. So let's move on. Each kind of organelles performs a specific function. So whatever organelle is there in the cell, mitochondria, it's a powerhouse of the cell. Okay, it is the powerhouse of the cell. Ribosomes, they help in the synthesis of proteins. So that is what each organelle has its own functions. I'm so happy that all of you remember what has been taught last year. Thank you, guys. Now we'll move forward. Now here's the main important thing. A cell is only able to live and perform all its functions only because of these organelles. If these organelles are not there, you cannot imagine the cell will be able to live. Okay, because these organelles are there in it, it is able to live and perform. Organelles, I don't have to say again, I've been repeating it again, and I think it was so many times by now. So a cell is able to live and perform all its functions because of these organelles. It's very important, you have to know. And these organelles together constitute what is the basic unit called the cell. This is easy, nothing new in it, and I've just given in one line. Every cell is a set of organelles which help the cell to perform a particular function. Okay, this is, when you find this, this is just nothing. A cell, if it has to live and perform, it needs all the organelles in it. Plant cell, it has its organelles. Animal cell has its own set of organelles. Obviously, I said plant cell, it has plastids are there in plant cell. Plastids is not found in animal cell. That's some organelles are not there between each other. Centrioles are not found. I'm not sure whether most of you know, but I have mentioned in my class about all this. Don't worry, this has been taken forward. We'll be learning in detail. You don't have to worry about this year's cells, the structure, the organelles part. Last year we just gave in line, and there was some of you asking, ma'am, should we learn this? Ma'am, is it necessary? I said, no, it's okay. You just have to know the function. But this year, my dear children, you have to know in detail. And don't worry, I'll make it easier for you, and you'll find it very easy to learn also. So here, a cell is able to live and perform all its functions because of these organelles. And these organelles constitute the basic unit called cell. And in just I've given, every cell is a set of organelles which help the cell to perform a particular function. Here, now next is the structural organization of a cell. I will just give what it is, and for today, whatever I've taught, that's more than enough because so many things have come into it. Some you know, some you don't know. Okay, Baiju, that's fine. You raised your hand, thank you. Come on, you all are sitting and playing there. You're not concentrating on Siddharth, Prajot, enough. Come on, you have to concentrate on what I'm saying. Here we have what we're going to next, for the next class, we'll be learning almost every cell have three common features. this is also not new for you. That is the plasma membrane, the nucleus, and the cytoplasm. We'll be doing that in further detail in the next class, but I just want to give you a nutshell. Plasma membrane, you know that it is the outer covering, both found in plant cell and animal cell. Yes, you know, I know that you know. Thank you. Nucleus, again, in detail we'll be learning. Already I've mentioned it is the most important thing in a cell. It controls the activities of our Joes. Thank you. I know you all know this, but don't worry. We'll be learning a little more detail about this. Thanks. Then we have the cytoplasm. It is jelly-like substance found in a cell. Okay, Devika, thank you. So I'll just recap whatever I've taught. I said, when we started, I said you have to know about all these scientists, about whom I have said, our dear Robert Hooke, our favorite scientist since our 8th grade, who discovered cell. Robert Brown, the nucleus. Then Leeuwenhoek, he discovered the free living cells. Okay, thank you, Arun. Fine, come on, listen to what I'm saying. I see somebody playing racing. I know that you all know this. Thanks for acknowledging me. Then I said about Sheldon and Schwann. They stated about the cell theory. But great, that was not enough. Again, another scientist came up, Virchow. He came up and he said that all cells exist from pre-existing cells. I want you to learn about these scientists, the names. Mebin, thank you. I know that you heard me. Listen to what I'm saying. You'll have to know the names of the scientists. Don't worry about the pronunciation, especially the Purkinje, who discovered the protoplasm. You don't worry about the pronunciation. Learn the scientist names, the years. Okay, today itself, take the text and go through whatever I've taught. Okay, Adil, thank you. Go through whatever I've taught. After that, the differences between unicellular and multicellular organisms. You have to, that is a known thing. I'm sure you all are very sure about what it is, what unicellular, multicellular organisms. Yes, thank you. And then I've taught about characteristics of cells. That is important. You have to know all the characteristics which I said. Okay, I mentioned about all this. Take the text today itself and go through the characteristics. You don't worry, these notes will be given to you then and there, but today itself, go and read. Then only you'll understand what I have taught. Okay, for today this much is enough. I think it is so much you know and so much new has come to you guys. Okay, you don't worry about it. This chapter will be made easier in an easier format. If you want, you can give your suggestions. You can contact me. You can contact me personally. You can ask, and if any doubts are there, you can contact me directly. Then I have an activity for you. Okay, I have an activity for you. One, I said you need a notebook for biology. When and then I give notes, you have to complete it and write it. Yes. Thank you, Aditya Jobi. Fine. You acknowledge. Great. Abhay Sunil, thank you. Okay, so you are listening to me. Good. I want you to write the notes, complete it on time, and study it. If you study it, don't keep it for the last minute. Things will get complicated. So I want you to study. Then and then itself when the notes are given. Then I want you to do an assignment work today itself. If you have assignment book, you might have a normal book. If you have a thin book, that's more than enough. Come on, all of you are playing, I think. You're not listening to me. Come on, stop it and listen to what I'm saying. You can have an assignment book. Now you can write down what you have to do in the assignment book. In the assignment book, you can write the differences between unicellular and multicellular organisms. Okay? You can write the differences between unicellular and multicellular organisms. I hope you have written. The differences, just 2 differences enough. I don't need more than that. This should be done in your assignment book. Fine? Then I want you to draw in the same assignment book an onion cell, label it with a neat label diagram. Don't say that you know, oh my God, ma'am, I don't know. No, you cannot say no. Somebody saying no. No, we have done it. Okay. We have done that. And cheek cell also. Animal cheek cell. I think I can see Meenakshi writing, Kesia, Suzanne, Aditya Joby, I think you can hear me, right? You're writing it. Okay, good. So 2 activities I have given. Mithun, did you write? I hope you have written. Mithun? Yes, I can see him grinning and smiling. Mithun ji, good. Glad to see you all. Oh, great. Abhay Sunil, Abhay, Abhya, Abhay NAIR, all present. Glad to see you after long. Okay, so 2 activities I've given. Please, Adil, Aditya Shaji. There, oh my God, thank you for the namaste. Okay, so complete the activities and you have to submit it. You can get in touch with me. Okay, for anything, the notes will be given. Please complete it. And any doubt you have, you can come to me. Where not come to me on my WhatsApp or with the group which is created. Great. Adil, okay, fine. I got it. Thank you for the acknowledging. And till then, we'll meet in the next class. Bye.